Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I've always put out fun content and bits and pieces of my life. As you've read the title, I thought that I should share my thoughts about what's going on around me. I want to say straight up that these are personally my own thoughts, and without wasting any more time, let's get straight to it. I wanted to make a no bullshit sit down video, face-to-face talk with you guys. I understand that the lockdown is being eased in various parts of the country in India, and I think a lot of the public places are opening from June 8. While it might seem like things are going back to normal, I want to say that things are not going back to normal. Things will not be normal for a very, very long time. I want you guys to understand that the government has its own reasons for opening up public places, rightly so, for their own economic reasons. But what you guys need to understand that we are still fighting a pandemic. We are still in the midst of a pandemic, and the virus is going nowhere. We've still not found a cure. We still do not have any vaccines for it. The only thing that we know is that we can take our precautions, we can wash our hands, we can use masks or gloves, and we can maintain social distancing. That's the only thing that we know of. I mean, think about it. When in the month of March we barely had 100 or so numbers of the COVID cases in India, we went in a complete lockdown mode, and now that the numbers are sky high, we are opening things up, and that's only because of economic reasons. It's not because the virus doesn't exist or people are not dying anymore. The situation is very, very grave right now in the country. The numbers are shooting up, and the numbers are only going to go up because we are a population of 1.3 billion people. So can you imagine that there are so many people who are still asymptomatic carriers? There's so many people who are still having symptoms but are unable to get to the hospital. So those numbers have not even been added up. We are still not testing enough. We do not have enough ICU beds. We do not have enough infrastructure, if at all the entire population gets affected. So what you need to understand is that the numbers that any country is projecting are still not the real numbers, because there are so many people who are asymptomatic. They are not added to the list of being COVID positive, and they might come in contact with somebody who's immunocompromised and they might get affected. Just keep this fact in your mind that whenever you go out, you are at some point or the other coming in contact with somebody who is probably COVID positive without showing any symptoms. Having said that, I don't want you to get paranoid or thinking way too much in your head and letting it affect you or your mental health. What you need to do is you need to be aware, you need to take your precautions, you need to wash your hands as frequently as possible, as soon as when you get back home, before having your food, before touching your face. You should only go out when it's absolutely necessary. Probably when you go for your grocery shopping or you need absolute essentials that are required in your house for your daily living. Other than that, you should completely avoid going out. Just because the malls are going to open from 8th of June or a lot of other public places are going to be opening, don't think that life is going to go back to normal. Life is not going to go back to normal unless we have a vaccine that's been trialed on humans and that is completely safe to be used and it's a definite cure of COVID. You have to be aware, because you might think that you are indispensable and you will not get affected, but you're affecting probably the other person at home who might not be able to fight out the virus. If you are coming in contact with people who are elderly or who are immunocompromised or who have other comorbidities like diabetes or hypertension who might be prone to the virus, please maintain social distancing. Please make sure that you avoid as much as physical contact with them as possible. It's absolutely necessary, because the ground reality in the hospitals is quite grueling. I have a lot of friends, including my own mother, who is still working, and what they tell me is that they are running out of ICU beds. People are honestly dying within hours of getting admitted to the hospital. What I mean is that there is a sudden and rapid deterioration in a patient with COVID symptoms who is elderly with other comorbidities. So you have to be very, very careful with you yourself getting exposed and exposing your near and dear ones to the virus. The reason I'm making this video is that I'm a doctor myself. I think that I should be using this platform to put out a message out there, because if I can even change that one person's thought process that, oh, this virus is not that serious, oh, I can handle this, oh, me and my family will not get affected. Please don't think like that. Just because nobody in your close circle has yet gotten affected doesn't mean that the virus will not reach you. You have to take this virus very seriously. I have friends who work in the UK, I have friends who work in India in hospitals, and they tell me how serious the situation is. My friends who've been working in COVID wards since the beginning of this pandemic, there is no cure to this virus. You have to be very aware, because we only have a handful of things that we can be doing to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Having said that, I don't want anybody to be living in a world of paranoia. I want you all to be aware. I want you all to be taking your precautions. I want you all to be responsible. I don't want you looking up non-stop on Google what's happening. You need to take a little bit of social detox. You need a little bit of space for your own mental health. So just be aware. Just take your precautions. Don't be ignorant. Look after yourself and your loved ones. That's all we can do for now. I've also been reading up about few of the people in India, if they're showing symptoms, self-diagnosing themselves and self-treating themselves. I think that is not the right way. If you or your family are showing any kinds of symptoms, please get in touch with hospitals. Do not self-diagnose yourself. Do not self-treat yourself. Do not go and buy hydroxychloroquine and give it to yourself. There's a reason why there are people who are licensed to practice medicine. If everybody could just treat themselves, then there wouldn't have been a license being given out to doctors or nurses. So please take this very seriously. Do not self-treat. हाँ ये तो ठीक है, ये है तो ये दवाई ले लो, वो है तो वो दवाई ले लो. Please don't do that. Please go to your nearby hospital. Moving on from this, there's another global movement that I fully support, that I want to address. I absolutely do not support any kind of discrimination based on color, caste, sex, or ethnicity. I believe it's absolutely disgusting and downright wrong to form an opinion based on someone's color or where they come from. And I cannot stress more on the fact that Black lives absolutely matter, migrant lives matter, minority lives matter. I stand in solidarity for Black people and this movement that has been gaining momentum in so many parts of the world. It's very crucial and it's very important. But what we all are forgetting is that we are amidst a pandemic right now. We are still fighting a pandemic. I understand the peaceful protests that are happening everywhere, but what I also want people to know that while these protests are very important and they are very crucial for bringing light of discrimination, but you are also exposing your loved ones back home to the virus. As much as this movement is important, we are all forgetting that there is evidence, and it's quite concerning because the COVID virus disproportionately affects ethnic minority. But I genuinely hope that social distancing and wearing masks and hand washing is going to be enough for us to keep everybody around us safe. I sincerely request everybody who's participating in this peaceful protest to please take your precautions and just be aware. You have to remember that we are still in between a pandemic. Hope that my message has been heard loud and clear. Guys, please do not step out and start meeting your friends and chilling with your friends or making plans from June 8th. It's absolutely necessary for us to still believe and think in our heads that we still have a lockdown which is compulsory. At the end of March, when the lockdown started, it was a compulsion from the government side, and now the government has started to ease down this lockdown. So you might believe that government ne to bola hai lockdown hai nahi, so I'm going to go out. No, you still need to follow the rules. You still need to tell yourself that lockdown is not over. There is no cure. I have to still maintain social distancing. I have to still wash my hands. I have to still look after the people around me. But also, don't let it weigh you down. Don't let negative thoughts crop inside your head. The only person who can look after you is you yourself. Look after your loved ones as well, and just be kind to each other. We will come out of this. There is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know when, but we have to be patient. It's a long journey and it's quite tiring, but there is definitely going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.